Hello everybody, this is Bison Crumbs and welcome back to my channel. Right now we continue to catch up on my YNAB, one paycheck at a time, to document my financial journey and for me to hold myself accountable. We're still in the month of March, but we are slowly picking up the pace to catch up and be more current with the paychecks. With all that said, we're going to go over my Alliant Credit Union checking account. I signed up for this account for a bonus. Back in the month of September of 2022, I began a Alliant Credit Union checking account the month before I started the savings account. And this was because there was a bonus being offered back then. You get $100 and then $100 will go to charity if you signed up using the Good 22. So with these kind of bonuses, you have to meet certain requirements. So for this one, you had to maintain a minimum average of $100, opt into e-statements, and have at least one monthly electronic deposit. And then I would earn $100 and make a $100 donation to cancer or Alzheimer's or Easter seals. Both cancer and Alzheimer's are two of the bigger things in, I'd say, both sides of my family. One of my aunts had cancer. She has made a full recovery. Not saying that it can't come back, but for now she has beat cancer. And then some of my grandparents have had Alzheimer's, and currently my wife's grandma is battling the early stages of Alzheimer's. But I actually did not manage to get this. Either I did not read it thoroughly enough, or I forgot, just in general, that the minimum average daily balance of $100 had to be met. So I ended up failing that. This just goes to show that when you are doing this kind of bank churning that I've mentioned before, where you up for banks to earn bonuses, you should double check the wording and maybe keep a note or a list ready of the requirements that you have to do to meet this. Doctor of Credit is a good website just to keep track of these bonuses and helps you a lot. But I wasn't checking it, and that is why I didn't manage to redeem this offer. So the next coming month for cancer awareness for me would be June, being National Cancer Survivor Month. I'll probably donate $100 to the American Cancer Society, but I'm going for both the Alliant credit deposits. So this one is $100. This one was a shorter time span. You had to go through February when I started back in September. So that's only 5 months. But I'm also going for a bonus of $100 through the savings account. I just have to deposit $100 a month for 12 months and have $1,200 at the end of the 12 months. And so far I've been keeping track of that one a lot more, which is why I kind of left the checking account to the wayside. But as long as I get this done by the end of August of this year, I will be good and get an extra $100, which I will be applying to either my Roth IRA, which was the original plan, or something else, maybe gifts for Christmas, or I'm unsure right now. But that is kind of bank churning and my little journey there. Now, if you watched my last video, I started out with going through all my expenses. Since I'm on this catch-up journey anyways, I was going through all my expenses before I added my paychecks in, just to show you kind of how to roll with the punches before a paycheck rolls in. And well, I didn't do too hot at that because I did overspend by quite a bit. This paycheck is coming out on the 31st of March, which is the third paycheck, and since there's no month left to actually account for, today I am just going to use this $965 between my interest of all my savings accounts and my paychecks to just go through and correct these overspends that I do have, and then try to plan for the next month of April. Hopefully I did not overspend too much to the extent where I cannot cover it all, but we'll find out together on that one. And as a reminder, if you want to join YNAB, there's a link down in the description where you can sign up for a free 32 days. And I believe if you end up liking it, you actually get an additional 32 days free. But since I am able to account for YNAB and I actually bought a couple of years back before the price hike, and I don't need the free months. So down in the description, I have linked the official Reddit of YNAB that every month you can share your links. So just go down there and pick anybody in there, and whoever you take it through will also get the 32 days for free. Now back on it. So let's start correcting for these overspendings of this month and see where that leads us. So I got my rent paid for, my internet, electricity, gas, my phone bill. For my vehicle, I pay back my parents every month now that they have taken on my car loan. I just pay them instead of the car company. And we do $184 per month for them. So Dune is my cat, and me and my wife went in together on a couple of purchases, like a limited edition Switch, some of my cat's dental work that ended up being more expensive, and a Christmas present that was a couple of pictures that were professionally done and a little bit more expensive than we had wanted to spend. But over the course of this year, I am just paying her back $184 a month. Well, I am paying her $173 a month, but this month is a little bit more just to catch up on that. And this is just to have her paid back by Christmas time. So there's that. Story Plotter is another monthly thing I have. And that's just $4.27. That is to catch up on a bunch of notes that I have, just to have a coherent place for them. I've been trying a couple of different notepad kind of websites. But that's all for monthly expenses. Yearly, we paid for Reddit Premium. This is just because I use Reddit quite a bit. And if we have extra money, we can start funding these for the next time. And if we have any money at the end of this month, we get to add to these and see where that takes us. Insurance needs to be paid for, but that's a little bit later. My second channel, I need to spend a little bit more money, so that's $22 I spent on that. An attempt to resell, this is just eBay money from things I am selling online where I'm making more room in our house, and all that money is just pure profit after any shipping costs come out, and that's kind of why they share a category, the shipping costs and the items. So then for gas, we did actually get pretty close to the amount that I have budgeted for, but we did go a little bit over, so that's $16.73 to make that even. And there was a little bit more eating out than I would have liked. Casual fast food is just food for myself that I've spent. Fast food for two is between me and my wife. And then delivery, I had a deal on some delivery stuff. It wasn't as good of a deal as I was hoping for, but at the point where I figured that out, it was already pretty far into the process and we had no other plans. So we just went for it anyways. But that was 46.48. And because we didn't spend all of this for groceries, I will take the groceries out. And see where we go for next month there. Friend outing, My friend outing ended up being a little bit more than I had wanted. And this was to get an Xbox achievement for me, but also an excuse to see all my old friends again and try to relive some of the old days through all gathering in one place, going for one specific thing. The Ross I'm keeping to the side. And so this emergency fund needs to be minus 1 cent. Because everything has a job at YNAB, we need to make sure that it is going to some place where it matters. So that penny is going to go to the doctor if I end up going to the doctor anytime soon. Which I probably will be since I need a checkup. Microtransactions plus 1925. I spent a little bit on microtransactions through Xbox, but I'm trying to keep that to more of a minimum. This is more of an expensive month. Collector's edition. It's $9. I ended up going to Goodwill and finding just something random to buy. I would consider it video game history, but I found it and I decided I could spend the $9. And then comes the bigger problem, which was my Nintendo. So by the end of March, they were shutting down the online systems for the Nintendo Wii U and the Nintendo 3DS. These items are 12 years old at this point. So they cut down the servers, but me and my wife both ended up spending quite a bit of money just to buy a bunch of these online games. Some that are cheaper online and some that were only available online for both those systems between the 3DS and the Wii U. I put them together just because I didn't really buy any Wii U games. I do try to keep all this stuff separate, but you had to buy just straight gift cards through Nintendo Online and go through this whole little process. And there was actually a video that kind of went through this tedious process of actually getting it all. We had nowhere near all the 3DS. We had nowhere near all the 3DS or Wii U games on the eShop, but it was a very interesting video to see all the limitations Nintendo actually put to getting all that. I just put a straight $200 towards it and bought as many games that I wanted as I could before these servers were laggy enough and it wasn't worth the trouble of actually getting more games. Extra love, this is just a category for anything extra that I buy my wife during the week or month. And our anniversary is May 1st, so I'll just keep that there. Father's Day, I ended up finding a good deal on some alcohol that my wife feels like he will like, so we went ahead and bought that sometime early. This is some of the stuff that I am looking to get from my wish farm. It's about time to readjust that kind of thing. And we overspent, which was a fear I had. So $4.94 for paying back. I bought my mother some butter and I called it close enough for the amount she gave me back for it. $5 isn't a huge deal. But then the taxes we paid in, we paid $392 this year just because my wife had some incorrect amounts on her W-4 or something that she's taking out of her paychecks. So I paid her back the $392 since I have a more stable job than her at the moment. And this is going to be paid back through the state, who actually owes us more than $500. So I'll be getting that $392 back in the coming month, plus a little extra. And that extra will be split between the two of us. But the federal taxes are what we had to pay into. And since the state is a little bit slower at getting us our money back, ended up being a loss for the month. But only $321.70. I guess this just has to be applied to my Roth, which is where I put all the money that I got from selling all my dividend account through M1 Finance. I had worked on a dividend account for a couple of years, and I ended up selling it all at the beginning of this year to finally get ahead of my finances and take control of that. So I guess we have to minus the 321.70, and I'll have to keep that in mind for this upcoming month as we go into it, because it is not sustainable to rely on just this account for keeping my budget afloat, because I should also account for, so this Roth 2023 is actually between these two Align accounts where I'm trying to keep these amounts even, and I did do a transfer over. So let's double check that we get up to this combined amount. So let's go 911.22. And a helpful thing about YNAB is just that you can actually do this math in the software, which makes it very easy to keep track of. And so we take those two amounts combined, the alliance, and minus the 684.34, which puts us at $260 that we put towards it this month, and to get us that total amount of $944.34. And that's what I have to take out of here is $120, because I have to put in $100 for savings each month, and I was doing the checking of $20 until the end of the month where I found out I had failed it. So this $33 might end up going just directly into savings. And instead of rolling with all these punches, I am going to keep some money towards these amounts and just take out of the Roth, just because I know these are expenses that are coming up real soon, and they're going to need to be paid for anyways. So the difference of $30 plus whatever else I have isn't going to make enough of a difference where it's going to matter. And then I guess I forgot, but Wealthfront savings is the same as my emergency fund, where it was set to the side for a specific purpose. So this amount is going to be minus $55.89, and that has to be applied to somewhere where my savings is actually going. I set it aside for Simply Wedding, so I think that's where I'm going to put it, is my wedding category. And this is for, while me and my wife have already been officially married, as long as things work out, we're hoping to have a second wedding where we can actually get more people, since our wedding was during the pandemic still, and we had older people that was better not to risk their health. We are going to hopefully get more of our families together for a renewal of vows kind of wedding. But that's still a decision to be made, depending how much we're actually going to set aside for that and how things work out monetarily. In the end, I wouldn't be too broken up if we just end up doing what she wants, which is a honeymoon between the two of us, where I more want the wedding, she more wants a honeymoon, and I'm okay with both, but either way, I'm still just happy to be with my wife. So if in the end the wedding doesn't work out or the honeymoon needs to be postponed, ultimately it's not a huge deal. But trying to get ahead of it and try to keep track of it is better than nothing. And Pokemon Commission is, well, we'll talk about that some other time. I think once I get caught up to the current month and paycheck, which as long as I stay consistent with the current plan, that's when I hope to be caught up and have my end of quarter review where I will do the same thing as I did for March, which is pay off all my credit cards in full and not spend any money the last couple of days. So I roll over into a new month with all zeros and make it easier to double check those numbers. And it'll be at that point that I also just do spring cleaning, probably technically summer cleaning at that point, but I hope to have a better plan when that day comes. I kind of write down a lot of the ideas I have for changes I want to make with it, and all at once I will probably implement them. So again, with all that said, this has been a bison's journey of making crumbs on the prairie. I want to thank you all for watching today. And if you like this content, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. But I'll be back soon with the next one. I'll catch you later.